Okay, now it's recording. So I'm just going to start off doing a basic reading, looking at the recording now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to start off with a basic reading, just looking at whatever comes up. That's just kind of to see what kind of
Yeah.
patterns are going on, and that might make it easier to get into questions later with that
Mm-hmm.
already looked at. I'll do that for the first half, and then I'll stop and you can ask questions after that. Or if during you you can interrupt me and ask a question if I'm talking about something that you have a question about. Well, I'm gonna do it with my eyes closed in meditation, so just give me a moment here. And just to connect with your energy, can you say your full birth name? Okay. All right. So I'm going to look at the first layer of your energy. And this has to do with safety, security, survival, and well-being. And the way I read pictures or read energy is through seeing pictures, just so you know. So this can be usually symbolic or a metaphor, and it can also be literal sometimes as well.
Mhm.
So I'm seeing what looks like a picture of you as a child, and it's like you're putting something out on the ground and it's exploding. So I'm gonna try and see what this represents or what this means for you. So it's actually like there's this boy doing this, and you're a girl watching this boy do this. It's kind of like fireworks, but it's not a firework in this picture. Looks like it's this sense of adventure within this energy here. Let's see what this is about. And it's like you're like really egging him on, like you're cheering him on. And there's a sense of like mischief to this.
Mischief.
Yeah, like um like playing around, you know. Not
Uh,
like not in a bad way necessarily. Just like almost you might be getting in trouble, like doing something kind of risky. Um, but this isn't you doing this. This is like you're kind of cheering this person on. It looks like you in this picture. You're you're like yeah, you're just cheering him on. You're like yelling like you know, like having a blast with all of this. So I'm trying to see what does this mean? What is the message here? Regarding your um, first layer, meaning safety, security, and survival, it looks like there's a lot of a kind of crazy kind of energy going on around you um,
mhm.
regarding other people. And and it looks like you're kind of, it doesn't really seem to bother you. It looks like you enjoy that and it works for you and you kind of thrive in that scenario.
Mhm.
It looks like you kind of admire that type of energy in other people. And it's like you're attracted to that a little bit. Trying to see a little more about what the message is here. It's almost like you need other people to kind of stir the pot up for you a little bit.
I
You're
need
more like,
I need other people too.
it's like you kind of like other people to kind of like help stir the
Yep.
pot to get things going. You're more the
Yep.
observer type,
Hmm.
but it looks like you're very grounded within that, and there's no sort of problem with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like that's working for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next layer. See what comes up for that. This layer represents your emotions, sensuality, and sexuality. So I'm seeing it's like you're kind of by yourself a little bit, and I see you sending out this energy. Um, I see you as being very like kind of cut off. It's like other people are kind of far away from you regarding this, and you're sending this energy. I'm trying to see what this is. It's a little bit of judgment in this energy you're sending out here towards other people, and it's
Yeah,
like
maybe.
what's that?
I said yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Um,
So I'm judging
there's just well, let me read it a little more. Um,
because I have here two different situations. I told you about the person I like,
yeah.
and yeah, that may be one case, and the other one is I have a person who I have a problem with her. She is my relative, but like I'm not going well with her, and I'm living with her. So yeah, it's really making me angry like every day.
Okay. That could be what this is about. This is mostly just about the general energy that's lit up the most right now within your
Mhm.
emotions and sensuality and sexuality. Um, so yeah, let me just get a little more into this. Um, as like you're trying to really make things work for you, it looks like there's some type of kind of like mathematical way you're trying to put things together to make them
Mhm.
fit, and it
Mhm.
looks like there's a little bit of complexity to that. You're very far away from the situation, kind of seeing
Mhm.
it from afar and trying to find the right pieces. And it's like there's a
Yep.
little bit of this judgment that's coming out a little bit. But it's like you're um, let me see, what is this about? Let me see here. Yeah, it's like you want things to be a very specific way on some level. Of course, everyone does, but it's like you're kind of it's like you are judging people to some level to make sure that they would be the right piece to fit in to your puzzle, so to speak.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna see what is your spiritual truth here, or what can you do? I'm seeing there's a lot between you and um, looks like a baby here, and
Baby,
there's
I have two daughters.
okay. There's a it's like you're talking with them a lot, and it's like that's kind of it's like you're kind of yeah, that's kind of what you're trying to fit everything into a little bit. So I'm saying your spiritual truth, what your spirit is wanting more from you is for you to focus less on the external of what you need and focus more on your daughters, it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like just playing with them. And it looks like that energy kind of stops this kind of like judgmental, kind of looking for the perfect picture sort of scenario. And it kind of just radiates your authentic self more. And that
Mm-hmm.
kind of helps you attract what you want more into your life on a metaphysical, sort of energetic level, or just like finding yourself in the right place at the right time on a physical level, potentially too. Um, it looks like just really enjoying those moments and focusing on that more so than this judgment, kind of like is he gonna work, is this gonna work out or not, like that just seems like that's kind of getting in the way a little bit of it actually working out. So we're gonna move on to the third layer. The third layer is about your um what you do, like doingness, also your power, your willpower, um male and female energy. I'm gonna see what
Mm-hmm.
comes up here. So I'm seeing a similar picture where it's like you're holding a child in your arms, and it's like, and again, this may be more of a metaphor than like literal. um and you're holding a child in your arms, and it's like you're very, there's like a close connection here, but it's like it's almost like you're introverted or kind of shy towards what's going
Mm-hmm.
on around you.
Yeah.
um so let's see, what is this, how to do with the third layer about doingness and willpower. It looks like you're kind of like holding this child like to yourself, and like you're almost like holding yourself towards this child in the sense that you're kind of disconnected from what's going on around you, like you don't have a whole lot of power or sway over what's going on around you. It's like you don't, um you're like shying away from like putting your foot down, or like not necessarily that, but just controlling the things outside of your personal bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the current situation.
Yeah.
We we're stuck for now.
So let's see what comes up for next step here. So when I ask for what's the next step, I see this baby throwing a toy out into the street where you just happen to be standing, and you reach over and pick up this toy. And as you're doing so, it kind of brings you out of that little bubble that you were in, this and it's you talking, or this guy's there, and he sees you, and you're it's like you're getting out there more. So it looks like something about your child and your child's ability to play, kind of sharing that with the external world. Looks like that would be one way that you could connect more and become more normalized with establishing your power, like your personal power, to influence the world around you more and get what you want more. And that doesn't mean like in a selfish way. That just means in a, being recognized for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the fourth layer. Fourth layer is about love, as well as your affinity for other people, and your affinity for yourself, and identity, what you identify as. So I'm seeing you kind of looking around at people. Again, it's very similar to what I was just seeing, where you're very much so entangled with these children. Um, it's like you're kind of looking around, seeing what other people are doing and thinking, and it's like you're kind of trying to fit into their model or their like what's already going on with them, and they kind of establish a system of what's going on, and you're kind of trying to see what that is and see how you can fit into that, or if you fit into that.
Yeah, maybe this is about my career, my job.
um I'm not really seeing it having to do with that in particular. I'm just this is more about like your it could potentially, I'm not specifically saying that. I can look at that later though, for sure.
Mhm.
um but I'm just seeing that as like a general pattern within your self identity to begin
Mhm.
with, which could potentially lead towards your job for sure. Um, Let me see a little more about what's coming up here. And there's this sense of like carefulness, like you're being very careful about like you don't want to step on anyone's shoes.
Sorry.
You don't want to step on anyone's shoes or
Oh, okay.
go into, it's like you're very timid about taking the next step.
Yeah, yeah,
So let me see what's your next step here. So I'm seeing this represented. It's like a new, could be a metaphor, but I see you in a car, and it's like you're driving this car, and it kind of gives you your ability to like really have your space within this car. So I'm gonna see. I don't know if this is literally a car, or if this car is more symbolic. So let me try and see what that's about. And I'm saying that this car represents your home life,
yeah. Mhm.
and it's almost like there's this insecurity about your home life, and this car is the security representing that. um and it's like as you get in it and you drive through the same scenarios with these people, it's like you're not so consumed or concerned about their system of what they have going on socially around them and trying to fit into it. It's kind of like you've stabilized your like what you're about, and you're letting you're it's like you're unapologetically just allowing that to be what it is, and having that more set in stone. And it looks like, let me see, what do you get to have when you do that? I see that when you actually do that, people actually come to you and talk more to you,
Yeah.
because yeah, because when you're not doing that, you just look like you don't really know what you're doing, and people don't really know how to approach you in that manner, because you're not like as grounded and as like solid in a state where people can kind of see what you're about and therefore approach you.
Mhm.
So that's what's coming up for that. So I'm going to move on to the next layer. The next layer represents the next layer is the fifth layer, represents your communication. So I'm seeing a picture. It looks like in this picture you're talking to your mother on a phone. Let me see what this means. There's like this sense that you don't really know, like you're kind of just doing whatever is coming through the line for you to do. Like you're just kind of like asking what you should do and just doing that. Um, like you're very receptive to what people are saying, like almost to a fault, potentially, not
Mhm.
necessarily. Um, it looks like you're just kind of waiting for directions from people. Let me see a little bit more here. Yeah, it looks like you're kind of confused about things, and this is causing you to like want someone to just give you the like a manual directions, just like step one, step two, step three, and you're just kind of looking for that information to just follow it without really questioning it or really trying to necessarily understand the full situation at hand. And it's more just you just want the directions. It's looking like.
Mhm.
Let's see what your truth here is. It looks like your truth is that you're kind of worn out, like kind of tired on some level. Like you're just like overwhelmed a little bit, maybe, and you're just like, all right, just tell me what to do now. I can relate to that with my technology. Um,
Yeah, this may be about, yeah, this may be about my job. I'm trying to do a very very hard work there. So trying to move up
right.
before this COVID thing came. So now I took time off, and yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
when I go back how will the situation be. I will try to do the same, but I'm not sure about the moving up. I'm really trying to do that to get promoted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll look at that in just a little bit. I think we have two more layers, and then I can get to looking at whatever you want. So the next layer is the sixth layer. This has to do with your clairvoyance, your ability to see things or to see other people for who they are or what they are, as well as be seen for who you are. So I'm saying, it's like you're shooting these animals with a gun. Like that's obviously a metaphor. I'm gonna see what this means. It's like you're trying to get rid of stuff out of your life that's
Yeah, they're they're no longer like bringing me positivity or nothing.
yeah. Let's see, what does this have to do with your sixth layer? It's like you're really starting to see what isn't needed in your life anymore. It
Yep,
looks like you're
yep,
really just clearing it out.
yep. Yeah, I usually don't know people till I learn a lesson from them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that this is the bad part.
Looks like there's people with you though that you, at least in energy, a male energy of some sort that that you're taking advice from, that you still, it's like you're connected to, and you're not shooting them. Let's see a little more about this. It's like you're very friendly and communicating with them, and it's like they kind of know you, and they kind of know what you're doing too. Like they see that you're clearing all these things out of your life, getting
Hmm.
rid of them. I don't know who this man is. It looks like someone who is close to you on some level though.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the last layer. This has to do with your connection to your higher self, as well as spirit and inner knowing, or yeah, just knowingness. So let's see what comes up for this. It's like a picture of you getting onto a horse. What does this represent? It's like this horse is trying to take you somewhere on this journey, but it's like the horse won't budge.
Sorry.
The horse won't budge. It's like you got on this horse to go on this journey, and the horse is, it's like it won't budge.
Uh-huh.
And this has to do with your connection to spirit or your inner knowingness. So I'm going to see what this means more specifically. It's like this horse wants you, it's like very friendly towards you, and it wants something from you. Trying to see what this is. It's like you've gotten on this horse, and you're wanting it to take you somewhere, but you don't really, it's like you're not really giving it directions to where you want it to take you. So it's like you don't really know where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to go, but you just want this horse to take you there. And so the horse isn't taking you there because it doesn't know. It's just like it's very friendly, and it wants to, and it will do whatever, but it doesn't even know that you want to go somewhere because
Oh, okay.
you haven't made it clear, or you
Yeah, yeah.
haven't
This is
created the
very.
intention.
Yeah.
It's like you're just waiting for it to take you somewhere, but you don't know where.
I don't even know where.
Yeah. So let's see. What's
Yeah,
your
this is very. Yeah, this is resonated.
okay? Let's see what your spiritual truth here is. So when I ask what your spiritual truth here is, I see you suddenly like dressed in armor and like battling people.
Oh.
And it's like, and that's your truth. Like that's where you need to go. It looks like there's a little bit of like conflict just on some level. I don't know if conflict is the right word. Um, but it's more like you need to get through something. There's a lot of energy um, kind of preventing you
Hmm.
from going somewhere. Um, let's see what this looks like. This is kind of related to your job
Hmm.
on some level, at least.
Yeah.
I'll try and see what more I can get out of this. So this armor is actually like your own happiness and joy is what it represents, and that just kind of deflects um, what you're up against. So I'm gonna see a little more what you're up against here. I just see this like a boss with a piece of paper, a bill. Actually, I see it's this bill on the paper, and he's like kind of waving it around. Um, just that type of energy. Um, doesn't mean it's literally a bill necessarily. It could be. I don't
Mhm.
know. Um, and I just see your route here is that you kind of just go forward and you brush up against it, and your armor just kind of scratches against it, and just kind of slight collision, and then you just kind of go. It's like sidestep it, and you keep going down this path somewhere else. It looks like, although this isn't necessarily like changing a career or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and uh, let you ask whatever questions you want for the remaining period. Now that we've got that general pattern recognized.
Yeah, I would like you to continue more about the last thing you were saying.
Okay,
Yeah, about the job.
about the job.
I would like to understand better what did you say here.
Understand what?
Um, the last sentences you said about the road, what I need
Okay,
to do.
okay. Let me see what that's more about. So it looks like the way that this boss, or this guy representing boss energy, not necessarily your boss, but
Mhm.
just that type of situation,
Yep.
is he's very slow. He's like moving very slowly, and he has
Yeah.
this pattern, that's set kind of in stone, and it's 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 not like it's coming at you very fiercely or anything. It's like a slow motor that slowly just grinds away and turns at a very slow pace. Um, and it looks like that's why you're able to kind of crash up against it in some manner and have it not be a problem, because it's not trying to attack you at all. There's no like offensiveness coming from that. It's just like a slow moving machine. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
so I ask about if you are like riding away from this. I see you turning around, and it's like you're moving forward and kind of brushing up against it, and kind of like colliding and going off at a different angle away, so that you can kind of get out from where you're stuck. It looks like there's just like this, you're at this weird angle, and it's like you're kind of trying to reposition yourself. Um, and it's like when you reposition yourself, you have a better view of what's going on, it looks like,
Yeah.
and you can kind of see the dynamics of how everything's playing out, and you can really kind of decide if you want to step in, or where you want to step in, or if you want to turn around and find a different job or whatever. I'm seeing that as a potential for you. Um,
Hmm. So is
Not
there
saying you
potential
should.
there
Say what?
inside there? Is there something that I can do inside there, or is just a potential out of it?
Um, let me look. Let me see. So it's like I see you at first needing like all this armor and whatnot in order to get yourself kind of unstuck from the situation, and that armor again represents your own like self and like reinforced joy to kind of um, get you through the situation, which looks like it could kind of like be a little rough on you energetically and kind of bring you down and stop you from furthering or progressing. Um, so it's like you need someone like this kind of like thick skinned confidence from this joy initially to get through that. But then once you kind of are able to put yourself out there, it looks like this could potentially be you asking for a raise or something like that, or just like kind of really putting your foot down in some manner. And doing something that you hadn't, maybe just asking what you need to do for a raise or something similar to that. And that's kind of like how you're brushing up initially, and then once that happens, it's like you kind of get a further view,
Mhm.
and you can kind of see what's going on more, and then you can get off this horse. Um, and I see you walking up with a piece of paper and handing it to them, and you're much more modest, I guess you could say, in that action. It's like looks like there's a sense of not being modest that is required initially, and then immediately following that modesty is and like I see you turning in this paper, so I'm gonna see what this paper represents. It's almost like you took a quiz, or it's almost like you're handing in your test paper, like to
Mhm.
show that you passed this test. That's what that looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and look for a different picture about this. What more specifically do you want to know about all this?
Yeah, I just told you I would like to continue on the same company. I see myself there, but not in the position I am now. So what I understood about from this part of reading was that nothing will be offered to me. I have to ask for it.
Um, I guess I can look at a. I'll look at and see what comes up for that. So I'm just seeing like stormy weather. Um, and it looks like it's kind of frightening to you a little bit on some
I don't
level.
know. Sometimes I don't understand some words.
Oh, there's
And
stormy weather, and I see it as like lightning coming down, and it looks like it's almost a little like frightening to you at certain moments.
lady.
Like it's like almost kind of scary, like for a second, is what I'm
Oh,
seeing.
okay.
Um, eh, so yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of this intimidation. You're a little intimidated, I would assume, is what that means. I'm trying to see about the potential of of them coming to you.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Should I wait for them or I just have to ask by myself what I want?
So it looks like they would eventually get to it, but yeah, it's kind of like that slow moving
Mm-hmm.
machine again. It's like um, it doesn't look like
Mm-hmm.
it would happen necessarily quickly. it's like they're not really paying attention to that,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe eventually it might kind of fall into place over time. Um, Let me look really quick again. It's like they're not really interested or paying attention to that potential. Like it's just not on their minds.
Oh, okay.
But like it's gonna take something to kind of trigger that for them to be like, oh, like maybe we should do that. You know, it's gonna take something to create that awareness,
Mm-hmm.
and that could happen naturally over time. But it looks like you could always jumpstart that a little bit. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
how they would react. Let's see. I'm seeing them. It's like you're handing them this paper that represents you requesting a raise, and I just see them like grabbing it and looking at it and inspecting it, very detailed, like honing in on the details of it. And they're not really looking at you. They're um, they're more looking at like the details
Mm-hmm.
of like the policy. I guess that would probably be like the policies of work and the
Yeah, they look at the numbers. Yeah.
yeah, okay. um so they would be inspecting it and they would be putting it aside to look into further, and it looks like there's kind of a network of people.
Mm-hmm.
um you have to kind of verify it. It's not like you can really necessarily just convince them. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they have to kind of inspect it. um Looks like it would go through other people and it might take some time, and there may be a few little things they may want to check in with you about, and I see them handing you the paper back and like pointing at something on it. um like, did you do this or did you do that? um
Mm-hmm.
and them just like wanting you to be able to check those things off, and then get back to them about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks like there could potentially be a few little details that they want you to do a little differently. Um, that may come up, maybe questionable. They might just write it off too, but it looks like there could be a little bit of some details there. Um, so you might just want to, but like, doesn't look like it's gonna hurt you in any way if you do that. Looks like they're on your side. They
Yeah.
just they just have to have this checklist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they respect me a lot. They appreciate me. It's just, yeah, maybe they didn't even think about that. They want the job to get done. They were very happy I make the rate. So that's it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, is there anything specific more you want me to look into regarding that?
Yeah, regarding this, I have I have people there who I stay with, and sometimes, yeah, I don't know, I have some doubts on them. How do you see how to say, the people who are around me?
You said there's people who you stay with.
Yeah, I talk with them more, or like
Oh, you mean
the people
at
who I
work?
work with.
You
Yeah, at
mean
work.
you're around them at work, or do you mean like you stay with them
Yeah,
outside?
yeah, because you know, usually I'm every day in top of workers. So I see people talking, gossiping, and what do you see about this? Like people who I'm with every day there.
Okay.
I have some doubts, but I don't know. And I
And
have
this
some
is
who I talk to them more. I tell them things. I'm not sure if I should continue telling them.
okay. I'll look at that, see what comes up. So I'm seeing them kind of being like a group. I'm saying you being not so like you're more independent than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like there's a sense like it looks like you're almost a little sad about that, or it makes you not feel that great.
Yeah.
Like there's a like almost a bit of shame about not being part of the group, like left out a little bit. Um, so let's see. You ask, are you talking to them? It looks like, yeah, I'm seeing them as being, friendly and wanting to include you and trying to include you, but it's like they just kind of naturally talk to each other
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really naturally talk to you. It looks like you're just like very introverted compared to them, and you don't like I don't know, I don't know if this is even a thing they talk about, but like things like sports is what's coming up, like the way that people talk about sports and they just kind of have that in common. It looks like they have a lot in common, and aren't really you don't really speak that language, so to speak, as much. So I'm going to look at this in terms of you. So you wanted me to look at this regarding you getting a raise, right?
Oh, not necessary. I don't know. Yeah, I was just interested in all the relationships there inside. Like,
Okay.
how do they see me? Or because lately I have noticed some things.
Okay. Let me see. I see them as being very, group minded. Like I'm seeing it as a bunch of guys, and these
Mm-hmm.
guys are very, um, they're like a group, and you're like kind of outside of that group on some extent, but they
Yeah.
still talk to you. It's like they're all. I see it as like they're all at one table, and they're all huddled
Mm-hmm.
around talking and gossiping, and they kind of yell over to you, and you're at a different table, and they'll occasionally yell over and say something to you, and you'll interact with them a little bit, but it's like they're very much so more to themselves, and it's like they share things amongst themselves, and they may forget to. It's not like they forget to include you necessarily. It's that they kind of things make the rounds between them before they get to you, and there's a potential that they might not get to you. And I'm just seeing this as donuts. That's just a symbol that could represent gossiping information, or it could even represent donuts. I don't know. Maybe they eat donuts at work.
Oh no, but yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
But
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, it makes sense.
so you want to know what they think of you? Let's see. I see there's one guy in particular who really wants to like include you more, and he's like kind of pointing at you and trying to get you in on what's going on with them within their group dynamic. Um, and some of them just don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
Just they're just I don't even care. Like I see them as being kind of more gossipy. I don't see them gossiping about you, but I just
Oh,
see
okay.
them as being gossipy in the sense that they just kind of say things that are, you know, they say things quietly because they don't want things to be
Yeah.
heard, because they might be like, making. jokes about
Yeah.
things that are slightly insulting.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, it's not that I'm bothered that much about them, but I just wanted to know if I should be open to them or not.
okay. Let me look at that in
But
particular.
that's okay. Yeah, don't lose energy about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if you see.
oh
Okay.
yeah, I'll just say really quick. I was just seeing you
Okay.
like going over there and talking to some of them a little bit, but not like sitting down at their table, so to speak. Um, but going over to their table and talking to them for a little bit and engaging with them, but then going back to your area because it looks like there's some sort of level of awkwardness if you were to like put yourself right in between all of them at once for like an extended period of time. It looks like so. It looks like you could it looks like you could engage with them um, like little bits and pieces, like taking a step as far as how much you're engaging with. Like you could, put, so to speak, go over to their table and stand there and talk to them, but you wouldn't want to sit down and hang out for hours on end with them. Is what I'm
Yeah,
getting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So, what other, what else would you like me to look at?
I was asking about her in that, like, with all I had power to, or how to say this, like everything I could, I did for her, but it's not that it's coming back to me in the same way. Like, she is just for herself. She is not a kind of person to help you. And I would
Okay.
just like to know about her too, if I should bother with her, not at all.
Okay. Can you say her name out loud? Okay. So I'm saying you in this dynamic of this relationship as being the more like solid kind of grounded, like you're kind of you have your space, so to speak, and she's kind of the one who's kind of moving around, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she's not as like you're more solid in your space, and she's kind of like the wind, just kind of blowing around. Let's see. It's like I see her going through these things and like picking them up and looking on the bottom of them, like people's like stuff, like almost like she
Method,
was in an antique
method.
place, but it's like kind of like she's at someone's house. She's like
Yeah,
inspecting the things.
yeah.
Um, and it's not so much like she's stealing them as much as she's like eyeing
Using.
them.
Yeah,
So
I'm in using.
yeah, um, but it's like she could potentially, but I'm not seeing specifically that. It's more just that she's eyeing them, like looking at them,
Hmm.
checking them out, seeing what they're worth. It's like she's got this like game in her head, like just adding up all the math.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
all true.
yeah, I want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, all true, but related to me, so I don't know. I'm not sure sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, I should just get her out. Sometimes
Okay,
I'm like, come on, you can work. You can do it. But it's not worth. I'm not in peace. That's the problem.
yeah, okay. I'm seeing like the dynamic between you two is like she's kind of doing that, and I see you. It's like you're aware of what she's doing, but you're not looking at what she's doing intentionally. It's like you're kind of looking up above her, keeping your eyes focused on the horizon, like um, the bigger picture, I guess you could say. And I'm seeing her kind of taking advantage of that because it's like she doesn't think he can see what she's doing,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like she's like got a bag and she's like stealing stuff. I don't know if that's literal or probably more of a metaphor, but
Yeah, it's all about material things.
yeah. Um, hmm. I see you being very nice to her, and I see you handing her, like you're giving her something,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like okay, like you're she's so fixated on all these little details and like things that she doesn't really necessarily need. Like these, to me, they look like antique items, and I see you give her something. It's like a heart shaped box. Or it's not a
Mm-hmm.
box, sorry. It's like a heart shaped container, and you're like, here, this is like actually what you need. Like this is something of substance, and you're giving it to her. And this, I don't know, like food is coming up, like nourishment, um, like things you really need. And and it's like she kind of stops and she takes that, and it kind of slows her down a little bit. I see her taking that in, and um, it looks like she respects you more because of that. And it's like she's honoring you a little for that. Like she's definitely, um, yeah, like there's a sense of honor from her,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like this still in the background, this little bit of this sneakiness going on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's vastly diminished when you give her whatever this is that heart container symbolizes. I'm also seeing it as like food, like
Yeah, food and house, yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, so the house is like by letting her, if you're letting her be at your house, it looks
Yeah.
like that is like
Mm-hmm.
she's just kind of taking advantage of that. But it looks like when you give her like really like thoughtful food and like good nourishment, it looks like that really gives her this sense of honor, and she respects you a lot more, and she's far less likely to do sneaky things.
Hmm.
But there's this, it's like there's still like that plan B in the back of her mind.
Yeah.
um, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not gonna go away, it's just like ingrained in her, but it's like she doesn't want to do that as much. But she looks like she's the type of person who could be like your best friend, um, but then something goes wrong, and then
Yeah,
she
yeah,
just completely yeah, goes back. um, Looks like there's always going to be like this tiny little percentage of her that is always a little sneaky like that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
um, so I don't know if I really helped answer your question. Is there's like, how do I go about answering your question? What more should I look at?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine about this.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll jump to the person I like if we can.
Okay. Um, yeah, can you say
You-
his name?
Yeah, his name was.
Okay. So again, I'm seeing it's like you're kind of far away, a little distant. Um, I'm seeing him playing a flute, which is probably symbolic, and that's like
Sorry.
his song. Say what?
Oh, I don't hear very well.
Oh, I'm seeing him like symbolically playing a flute, and it's like the flute is his song. That's kind of like his vibe, his energy, if
Hmm.
that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And he's very like very open. I don't know if he's a Leo sign, but he kind of reminds me of that type of like
I
putting
think he's a
yourself.
Libra.
Oh, okay. But either way, he's like he's kind of putting himself on display a little bit. Like his energy is like it's out there for people to see.
Hmm.
Um, and yours isn't quite there. And so it looks like again I'm seeing this child that you're holding. Um, and there's like this protective energy about you, which is definitely good for your children, but it looks like it's keeping you back a little bit.
Hmm.
I'm gonna see what would help or what your next step is here. And it's like I see him playing this flute, and it's like making this music, and that's like him representing his personality and energy. And I see you walking over to a piece of it, and it's like you're touching it, and it's like you're playing with that energy that he has. I see you setting like putting your um, child down that you were holding in your arms and going over there, but it's not like obviously you're not abandoning your children or anything like that. It's just like you're putting
Yeah.
putting down that protective
Hmm.
sense that you need to protect them and be safe. Um, and there's this sense of curiosity. It looks like from you, and this willingness to experience this other energy that is that you're kind of built a wall up around yourself with this protective energy that
Hmm.
that's preventing you from doing that. And I'm seeing him like talking to other people about you. Like if you approach him, I see him talking to other people. And he's like,
About me.
yeah. He's like, oh, like
Hmm.
this is different, like because it's out of character for you. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
you know, trying to see is this. It's like he's kind of going. It's like he's going along with it. Um, but there's almost this sense that it's almost like you're kind of like this might be a little extreme and sound harsher than it really is meant to be, but I can't think of any other way to put it. But it's like you almost seem kind of like a child to him, but you're not like a child. I just don't know how else to describe it. But it's
Uh,
like
say this one more time.
it's almost like you seem like you're like
Oh, yeah.
younger than him or
I'm
like
young.
not on
Yeah,
the
it's
same
true.
level.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's like that's and so it's like it's kind of like he's like playing with you in some regards because of that initially.
Hmm.
Um, and it's not like you're really on the same level as him in his eyes within the social dynamics. And that's kind of
Yeah.
why I see him talking to other people about you when you approach him. It's kind of like, oh, check it out. Like, Look what she's doing. um,
Yeah, maybe.
um, I'm gonna ask what you can do in this situation. I see you handing him something. It looks like this is obviously a symbol, but it's like a birthday candle, like one of those fake birthday candles that you light and they shoot sparks out. So I'm gonna try and see what is this. What does this represent? This is like something that's that you like some ability that you have or some special unique thing about you that's kind of impressive
Yeah.
that that you don't normally show to people. I don't know
Hmm.
what this is exactly, but I can try and see what comes up. What is this? I see you like reading a book and you have this knowledge and information about, it's almost like magic. I don't
Hmm.
know what that would mean for you. Or
Yeah.
it's like you really understand something on some level that most people wouldn't go to that length on. It looks like you showing that to him and showing this like deep level of profound like self-interest that you wouldn't normally think was something that you would want to share with people. I'm saying that as being what really kind of can spark the change to be more like eye to eye with him, so he doesn't see you as like a outsider who's like kind of lower caste, you know. And then it's like he's like, oh, like you're like really cool, you know. It would be
Hmm.
the response we'd be going for there. So that's what I'm seeing for that. um I'm also seeing that it might be a little rough for that to happen. um
It's almost platonic.
Say what?
Uh, like platonic thing.
Like non-sexual?
Uh, like it can't happen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not.
it cannot be real. It cannot be possible. Just the feelings are there. That's it. Like this
Yeah.
this ca- this can't work out.
um
I don't know about him. I'm not sure. I see some signs, some real signs, but I'm not sure. He didn't say nothing yet, and I didn't say nothing. It's just we both know it. Maybe
yeah, it looks
the
like
a
there's.
special, I would say a special bond or something.
Yeah. I think he might be the one who I was saying before, who is trying to include you more in the group dynamics. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% positive about that. Actually, I don't think that was the case. Sorry, I take that back. But yeah, it's like I'd say, hold on. It looks like the odds are kind of against you.
Yeah.
but it looks like over time, if you were to become like in the way that he's more so expressive, if you were to be able to kind of be in the conversation in an
Mhm.
expressive way and be respected as part of like the group dynamic more, I see that as drastically increasing your chances. I see that as really being the factor at play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what he's thinking for now, like what are his intentions? Is he going to say something, or he's just like, okay, I like her, but that's it.
Well, I see it as him looking at you and then him kind of looking down at the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he kind of has his eyes on you, but he's kind of like looking down too. It's more like somebody kind of looking out the window, you know, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like actually going outside and greeting them. So there's like some interest, but I don't see it at the moment, at least with where things are at. He's it's more like a fanciful thought in his mind than a reality. But it
Sorry.
could it's more like a fanciful thought. Um, then I can't say for sure like what he's gonna do, but I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
it as it's more of a thought in his mind than a reality, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I can't really predict exactly what's gonna
yeah.
happen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you never know.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
I would say um, I don't see it necessarily being very likely exactly how things are set up at the moment. But with the things that I was saying, those things could change the factors, is what I'm saying. So,
Mm-hmm.
you
So yeah, so for now you don't see something that potentially will happen.
know. I do see him reaching out to you on some level, but it's not like a reaching out in like a committed sort of way. It's more like a reaching out like um like hey, let's like kind of get more acquainted and then seeing where that goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I hope that helped. Is there anything else really quick?
Mm, no, not really. Since you're not saying anything more about him, then we will just see how this will
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, hold on. I'll see it. Um there's a little bit more maybe. It's like he's got his eye on you. I know I've already said that.
Sorry?
Oh, I was just saying he's got his eye on you, even though I've already said that.
Yeah.
On some level, at least. And it's like he's going to try and encourage you to interact with him more.
Mm-hmm.
But to him, it's almost like he has to like. For him, it's he's seeing it as he almost has to like get the whip out and be like, you know, like and like make you interact with him more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way he's viewing it. And it's like almost like a goal, like maybe I can get her to be more enthusiastic, I guess. And yeah, for now it just seems like something, you know, that he's like a little kind of goal, kind of game thing he's playing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for that. So, you know, it could turn into something more, but that's up to you and what you do, and if it's even a good match, really. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you can. I don't know. I don't know how deep you can go on this.
I also don't like to tell people what to do because that's
Yeah, I know.
up to people to choose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm saying it as not necessarily as much likely as being a like real relationship as more
Mm-hmm.
just like a kind of temporary fun kind of
Yeah.
friendship with, I don't know, maybe a relationship attached to it, maybe, but it's not so much on that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But potentially anything's possible. So, and you can change. You know, that's why I don't believe there are
Mm-hmm.
indefinite futures. You can always change the future.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah. Since we talked about the career and this part,
Yeah.
like I don't have much more to ask.
Okay.
Besides, for now, I think we will be healthy and safe, me and my kids, and just pass this difficult time.
Yeah. Or are you asking me?
I don't know.
Or are you just saying? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, are we going to? Yeah, are we going to pass this? Like, be protected? Are we just going to be fine from all of this going on now?
Yeah. Let me see what comes up. Saying it looks like with the help of um, like family, you should be safe. It looks like you have a very like tight knit kind of dynamic to your family. It looks like you're pretty well equipped to, you know, make it through everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't worry about it. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna go
Uh.
ahead and
Yeah.
clear this out. Is that all right? End the
Yeah. Is
reading.
there any way I can have?
Oh no. I just need to
Like, yeah, or maybe give a review or something, or feedback, or
yeah, sure. I mean right now. Or you mean
yeah,
like
I
help
would go
out?
to the page.
I'm gonna go ahead and end this recording